Kia ora. Welcome to Robosrants 30. Trust versus trustless. Let's say you buy $1,000 worth of shares in a silver mining company. Just think about all the people in that exchange that you need to trust. You buy the shares through a broker. The silver's mined by people that are mine. The silver's taken from the mine to a vault by a security company. The silver's kept in a vault and guarded by people. The silver is audited to make sure that it's the right amount in the right place at the right time. And then there's the executives to the mining company. All these people you have to trust with your $1,000 investment. So what if you opt to buy a bar of silver but keep it in a vault for safekeeping? Well, it's not dissimilar really. First of all, you possibly buy it through a broker. Then you keep it in a vault. And there's executives to the brokerage firm, there's executives to the vault. All these people again represent security issues for you and your $1,000 investment. But what if you buy $1,000 worth of silver just as a bar and you bring it home and you put it on the coffee table? Who stands between you and your bar of silver? Nobody. That's a trustless investment. So what about cryptocurrencies? Well, if you buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, the second it hits your wallet, it's yours. You're the only one with the private keys to your wallet. So you're the only person who can ever access that Bitcoin. That's a trustless transaction as well. Now what about fiat? The paper money we all use. And just for clarity, because I keep coming across people that don't seem to know this, fiat is not backed by gold. If you didn't know that, please go and do some research on what happened in 1971 when President Nixon closed the gold window. No fiat currency in the world, and that's all the ones you're probably familiar with: Canadian, US, British pound, euro. None of them are connected to gold. They're entirely backed by nothing but faith. So let's say you take $1,000 worth of cash and you take it to your bank. The second that you hand it across the counter to the bank teller, you become an unsecured creditor of that bank. So that's your first shortcoming. But of course there are, no matter how good their internal controls are, there's always some degree of risk inside the bank itself. The bank manager, the bank teller, the security companies, the executives of the bank. These people all represent risk to your money. But what about who owns your bank? Well, if you bank in New Zealand with the 4 major banks, they're all owned by the 4 major Australian banks. And who owns the 4 major Australian banks? Well, they're owned by companies the likes of JP Morgan. And in the first quarter or third of this year, JP Morgan added $11 trillion worth of extra derivative exposure to its accounts. It is now the largest derivative holder in the world. Now, it's an open secret in financial circles that derivatives are going to explode at some stage. And when they do, they're going to be like a giant black hole of assets. They're going to suck everything in. So what happens when the likes of JP Morgan implodes? Well, it's going to draw on all its assets. And what are some of those assets? Shares. It's got 10, 11, 12% in all 4 major Australian banks. So it'll suck those assets in. And what will they do? Because they've been drawn by their parent, they're going to suck in funds from their subsidiaries, which happen to be the New Zealand banks. And what are the New Zealand banks going to do? They're going to take all your money because you are an unsecured creditor. So that fiat is not a very trusted type of transaction either. If you want to get a trustless transaction, you want to be in physical silver or in cryptocurrencies. Everything else, you have to have a lot of trust in the people that hold your assets. All right, that's my little rant. Have a happy day.